Hi, if you want to jumpstart your Ionic 4 knowledge with Angular, React, and Vue examples, this video is for you. So essentially, we'll be creating this application that you see here on screen. It simply has a navbar, it simply has a card, but we're going to do it 3 times, one with Angular, one with Vue, and one with React. Each time we'll be using Ionic 4, and that's simply the power of web components. So the article for this video is of course over at developer.school, and you can see that here, Ionic 4, Angular, Vue.js, and React. You can also, if you want, simply filter the posts for Ionic. To get started, let's firstly install the Ionic CLI with npm install -g Ionic. Now right now, the CLI allows us to create Angular applications, but not Vue and React. This will, I think, be happening very soon, but for now we'll simply be using this for Angular. So once you have that installed, let's jump over to our terminal. So I've already ran npm install ionic -g, so I won't have to do that. But once you've done that, you can then run ionic start. That will create a new Ionic application. We'll call this one iAngular for Ionic Angular, and we'll use the blank template. You can use a few templates with this, such as the tabs template, the side menu template, and others. We'll be using blank for now. So hit enter. This will go ahead and create the directory and install our dependencies. Funnily enough, while I'm making this video, I was browsing Twitter while we're waiting for this to install, and Ionic have just released the ability to create React applications with the CLI. So we can either do that with Create React App ourselves, which I think we will for this video, but I'll make a new video soon that looks at how to do that with the CLI. So after this has finished installing, it's going to ask us whether we want to add app flow to our application. For now, we'll simply say no. Once that has finished, we can cd into i-angular, and at that point we can run code dot, and that will open this up inside of VS Code. And finally, after that, we'll run ionic serve. This will open up our project inside of the browser and listen for any changes. I've now took that Angular application and I've put it here on the right hand side of the screen. I can then open this up using Command B. I've got Zen mode on, so we can essentially say nothing but the code and the side menu. And then inside of source we have app, and this gives us a blank Angular project with one module called the home.module.ts. Obviously we still have our app module right here, but inside of home we have our homepage.ts, and here's our home component. So that, if we look at the HTML file, is exactly what we're seeing on screen. So we can do a few things. We can start off by changing the color to be primary, as an example. That'll give us a blue color. And then inside of ion content, we can remove this div. And we can make an ion-card. An ion card might have an ion card header. And because I've got the Angular language service, you can see that it gives us this auto completion here. That's simply a VS Code extension. If you haven't seen that before, I would recommend you check out my dev environment video. So let's add the ion card header. And inside of the header, we'll have an ion card title. And for that title, we'll say look at this view. And then above that, in this circumstance, we'll have an ion card subtitle, and we'll say, isn't it great? And then what I'm going to do at this stage, you can get this from the article itself if you want, or you can find your own image. I'm just going to paste one in here from Unsplash. And when we save, we should see a card that has a title and also a subtitle. Easy as that. We can also add content inside of the card using ion card content. And then we'll say, although it does look pretty cold. So when we do that, we should have the sort of results that we were expecting at the start of the video already. If we open up the developer console and we select this device mode here, we can then change the device to be something like the iPhone. And when we refresh, we can see that we now get the iOS styles. Alternatively, we could put it back to the Pixel and we get the Android styles for our app. So this just goes to show how sort of variable Ionic can be. It can adapt to the platform, and we've created a full app here with Angular. Obviously it's very simple right now, but it just goes to show how easy it is to get that card on screen. We have a variety of other components that we could use, but for now I just simply want to show this is how we create an Angular app with Ionic. Let's now take this same code, so the same markup here, the Ion content and the Ion header, and we'll paste that into a React app that uses Ionic, and the same thing for a Vue, and we'll get that started. So we don't need to change any of the markup for each platform because it's simple as importing it. Now with React there is a slight change because we have to import the components individually, but the overall premise still exists. So let's jump into React now. So let's now use create React app to create a React application and then add Ionic. So we can say npm install create react app-g, or alternatively we can just run this with npx. So we can say npx create react app, we'll call this i-react, and then we'll hit enter. So this will go ahead and create a brand new React application with create react app called i-react. Once again, you may have to wait for this to install the dependencies, but after this is finished, we'll install Ionic and React Router. Once that has finished, you can cd into i-react, and from here we can install using npm at ionic/react at ionic/core and react router and react router DOM. Let's hit enter to install that into our project. Once this has finished, we can go ahead and run code once again, but this time we want to run npm run start. This will open up our project in the browser as well as VS Code. So firstly, we'll head over to index.js, and from within here, we'll import the Ionic CSS. So I'm going to copy this from the blog post, but you can type this in if you want. It's very simple. We just want to import at Ionic core CSS, and we want the core.css and the Ionic bundle.css. Then inside of our application, so let's open up app.js. We can for now remove everything inside of app.js apart from React. And let's import from Ionic React. We want to import things like Ion app, Ion header, and Ion content. So as you can see, we are importing them like this from @ionic/react. Let's take our previous example, but this time we want to return an Ion app as the base element. After that, we have an Ion header, and that Ion header has an Ion toolbar, so we'll need to import that. And my auto import has caught that there, so you can see that's being imported from Ionic React. Then we'll have an Ion title, which has hello Ionic. Underneath the header, we'll have an Ion content. We'll then go and add the rest of the content, such as the Ion card title and the Ion card content. If we then go ahead and save the file, we should see that we have the same application as before, but this time built with React. Although one thing that we do need to do is go and add a color of primary to that toolbar. So now we have an Ionic application built with React with almost the same markup. All we had to do this time is import the React components themselves instead of using the sort of HTML syntax. But the HTML syntax will look very similar when we go to Vue.js. So this has been making an Ionic app with React. Let's look at Vue after this. So here we are once again inside of the terminal, and this time we'll need to install the Vue CLI globally on our machine. So let's make sure we run npm install @vue/cli-g. After that, we can say Vue create i-vue. This will be Ionic Vue. Then hit enter. we can see I have an update available, but for now, we'll simply select the default preset. This will go ahead and create a new Vue application in which we can then add Ionic to that. Once this has finished, we can say cd i-vue, and then from within here we can install Ionic core, Ionic Vue this time, and Vue router. This will install Ionic to our Vue project, and then we can go ahead and create the same app once again. When this has finished, we can say code dot to open this up inside of VS Code and npm run serve. We can now go ahead and import the CSS once again inside of main.js. And then because Ionic Vue is exposed as a Vue plugin, we'll need to import Ionic Vue from @ionic/vue, and then we'll use something called Vue.use Ionic Vue. This registers the plugin inside of Vue. At this stage, we can head over to app.vue, and we can go ahead and paste in the same markup from our Angular application, just with Ion app around it. So let's do that inside of the template and paste in that same markup. So we have the same header, content, card, and so on, but this time we have Ion app that surrounds the whole thing. So here we have now the same Ionic application once again, but this time with Vue.js. And it was just as easy as that. So once again, we see that Ionic 4 is completely adaptable, not only to the platform that you use, but also to the framework of choice. You don't have to be stuck with Angular anymore. You can use React, Vue, anything, even Stencil, Web Components, JavaScript. Doesn't matter what you use, Ionic 4 has you covered. So I hope you found this video helpful, if not somewhat informative. If you have, I'd love for you to tell me inside of the comments what you thought, and of course hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated with more videos. Thanks a lot for watching, bye.